Welcome to CrossFit NOLA Online. Today we have Thursday's workout. Let's take a look at the day. The WOD is 100-meter sprint for 10 rounds with a minute and 30 seconds rest for total time. So you can start a stopwatch, stay really honest on your 90 seconds rest, and go for total time, and then you can record those results. The warm-up today starts very much like it did on Tuesday when we had a big running chunk in the benchmark workout, Michael. It starts with the 400-meter jog, the 2-foot hops to stride, the pendulum swing to stride, the high pulls to stride. The 2-foot hops to stride, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop up in the air. I'm going to try to find my center of mass, which is going to be my belly button. By pushing my belly button forward and my toes, I should bounce forward. And then by pushing my toes forward in front of my belly button, I'll stop again. So again, belly button's forward and it's pushing me forward, toes are forward and I'm stopping. So what you want to do with this drill is kind of play with that body angle until you find a really good consistent angle to move forward, and then turn that into a stride by pulling your feet off the ground. The second point of the 2-foot hops is to feel the impact of the foot strike on the ground. What you're going to try to do is hit the ground with the front of your foot, but gently let the heel touch the ground in the bottom. So think single under bounce versus double under bounce for that 2-foot hop. The next drill we have is a pendulum swing to stride. The purpose of this drill is to engage our upper body and stay stable while our lower body is swinging side to side, and to transfer the impact of our body weight from 2 feet to 1 foot at a time, similar to a running stride. So what I'll do here is I'll start jogging in place, and then I'll take 2 bounces on each foot. As I'm picking the other foot up off the ground, I'll start to swing it side to side like a pendulum. My focus here is to keep my upper body from swinging side to side with it. So my upper body's engaged, I'm absorbing all of my body weight on 1 foot, letting the heel touch the ground. I'm going to find that body angle and push forward, and then I'm going to turn it into a stride without changing anything in the body angle there. The last warm-up drill is a high pull to stride. So what we're thinking about here, the faster we're moving, the closer our ankle is getting pulled under our hip. So on one side, we're going to do a high pull as if we were sprinting. The other side is going to be a normal stride, and then I'm going to turn that into a stride. Things to think about in the high pull are keeping the ankle loose and using the hamstring to pull the ankle right under the hip. So maybe like you're squeezing an orange behind your knee. So I'll do 1 high pull to stride. And then for my second set there, I would do the other leg coming back. These dynamic movements are the same: the heel toe walk, hip switches, walking ankle cradle, and leg swings. And a visual demo of the leg swings if we missed it yesterday. Remember, keep the core tight and move only at the joint you're trying to mobilize. Okay, so here, let's take a look at the hip switches and the walking ankle cradle. For the hip switches, I'm going to start seated with about a 90-degree bend in both knees. To emphasize the stretch, I would reach forward. I would open up this knee and bring the other knee to the ground. So that's 1, 2, 3. If it's a little bit of a tougher movement, you can lean back and take some tension off until you feel more comfortable bringing that torso up through those hip switches. The walking ankle cradle feels similar to a pigeon pose. So I'm going to take a step, I'm going to drive my knee up and twist, and then cradle my ankle up towards my belly. I should feel that stretch kind of in the side of my hip there. We would move our mobility of choice into there, and then we're gonna do something a little bit different with the warm-up. Because we're running sprints here, we really want to get the engine ready to go, as well as the muscles, the connective tissue, and everything to move our body as fast as possible. So we have 3 progressive runs here, in addition to the warm-up, in addition to the 400-meter jog. It's going to be 3 100-meter runs. Ideally, you would do your same running course, so you could practice the course at 60%, at 75%, and at 90%. So you're going to build up to speed there, and you're going to rest 1 minute in between the first 2, and after you do the last one, you can rest as needed before you get into the sprints. The workout of the day is the 100-meter sprints times 10 with a minute 30 rest for total time. We addressed it in the beginning of the briefing. It's pretty self-explanatory, but a little anecdote here. This was actually my first CrossFit workout when I was kind of a non-believer. And after 9 of the sprints, I was converted. So I'll leave it at that. The cool down today is a little similar to our running cool down on Tuesday, but it's different based off of the specific demands that today's workout poses. So we'll do a 200-meter jog cool down again. We'll do our 1-minute calf on the pole stretch. The cat-cows and the lizard pose and the anterior tib smash are new movements to today's cool down. So for the cat-cow, I'm going to be on my hands and knees. I'm going to pull arch or extension and then flexion. Through the totality of my back, from my butt all the way up through my cervical spine. So I'm going to lift my chin when I'm in extension, and I'm going to tuck my chin and press the ground away when I'm in flexion. You can try to segment the movement through the spine for those cat-cows, which makes it a little bit more intense and impactful. The last one of the A, B, and C before our anterior tib smash is our lizard pose, which is basically a frozen walking groiner. So I'm going to take a step out. I'm going to drive this knee back, trying to keep somewhat of a vertical shin. The toe is pinned down. The knee is pushed out like a squat, and I'm bringing my hips down towards the ground. So that brings us to the anterior tib smash, and if you've been to endurance, we've done this in endurance class before. What we're trying to do is we are trying to mobilize the lateral or the outside side of the lower leg here. Ideally, you would have a foam roller that's flat. If you have one with the knobs, it's not great, but things that you could use around your house, any sort of ball would probably work. A canned good would work, or something that you can create some movement through this side of the muscle here. So you'll see what I'm talking about. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna place my foam roller, my canned good, or my ball on the ground. If it's a small ball, try putting it on a book or some sort of lift so that you can actually use it to do the foam rolling. What I'm gonna do is turn my foot in to expose this muscle, and then I'm gonna push it down onto the foam roller, allowing the weight of my body and my hips to help put some pressure there. And I can go from the top of my ankle all the way to the bottom of my knee there with that anterior tib smash. That'll be it for our workout today. Thank you guys for coming to CrossFit NOLA online.